This is an ancient Chinese torture technique designed to drive people insane. It involves them being completely tied up so they can't move their arms, feet, or head. But the most important part is the drop of water that consistently falls in their forehead for the entire time. The average person can last around 30 to 40 minutes doing this before they give up. So I'm gonna try for the next 8 hours and tell you exactly how hard it is and whether it actually made me go crazy. Now, of course, the water plays a super critical part, which I'll explain in a bit, but first I want to talk about why you're tied up. There's two main reasons, which is both physical and mental. The physical part is because as you stay still, your muscles start to stiffen. You may have noticed this if you decide to turn over in your sleep or sit down in a chair for too long. But if you decide to keep staying still and ignore your body's need to move, it can become a very painful thing, as you're about to see. But the other reason they do this for the torture is for the psychological reason that you know you can't escape. And for that reason, no matter what, I was gonna go for 8 hours, but I quickly encountered a problem. By the half-hour mark, this is where most people would have given up, and I understood why. The genius of this setup is that as all my muscles were cramping up and I was unable to move, I was trying to take my mind away and focus on something else. However, just before I was able to do that, another drop would fall on my forehead, bringing me back to the present moment. I'm normally pretty good at getting lost in my own thoughts, but no matter what I did, I couldn't do that or fall asleep if I tried. You'll notice what I'm doing here is trying to get as much movement as possible to keep my muscles from cramping up. It helped, but not a lot. I was in a lot of pain and it was only going to get worse. The water was starting to cause some other problems too, and I was unable to focus on anything except the pain that I was in. I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone or have any sort of distractions other than occasionally when my friend would come in to check on me. What I needed was a new plan.
Alright, it's been an hour and 40 minutes. How is it, Tyler?
You know when you're in like a car for a really long time and you can't move, it's kind of painful?
Feels like that.
I came up with a plan and it seemed to work, and I'm going to tell you how to use a secret method to get through anything, literally any sort of physical pain. So you'll want to pay attention here, but the first thing is to understand that voice in your head, because right now mine was telling me I was in a lot of pain and I needed to stop.
So twitching a lot.
That voice wanted to use that as an excuse.
Do you think you're gonna keep going? Alright.
Now I kept telling myself I wasn't going to give up, but that was the voice too. I needed to control it.
Getting tough now, eh? How are you feeling?
My head is hurting a lot. Time seems to move way slower. Feels like it's been like a whole day.
And controlling the voice does help. Repeating positive things in your mind like I'm not going to give up and I could get through this helps a lot. But I took it even further with a concept that literally changed my world. You are not your thoughts. That voice in your head is not you. It's your body's way of reacting to every situation. And literally for the rest of the challenge, I was able to practice just stepping back and observing myself in this situation. It hurt, but I was watching it like a character in a YouTube video. But because of this mindset, I didn't go crazy, nor was it that hard for me to push through. And when I hit the 8-hour mark, I was able to finally set myself free and see how I felt. And you're gonna see this had a way bigger effect on my body than I thought. It started off with the marks that were left on me from the handcuffs and the rope.
Oh, I see there's like marks. Oh no. Oh jeez. I didn't know I did it that tight. Bruh.
But this next experience was something I've actually never felt before and was kind of cool to witness.
Nice and slow, nice and slow.
For some reason it felt like gravity had just doubled. So how hard was this challenge? A lot more difficult than I made it seem, but with the right mindset, anything is possible.
That's a weird feeling. I feel like the back of my head is like flat.